body while I'm communicating, and therefore, if it's okay, I would not like to use the mic because that kind of handicap. Is that okay? Yes. Regardless, if I'm not audible enough, if you cannot hear me, then I don't mind using it still. So I'll be here for about an hour or so. We will have a break in between at the 30th minute mark, and then we'll regroup. So in case I get tired and my voice kind of gets, then you need me to use the microphone. Please let me know. So far so good? Okay. This is Mudassir. There is sir already in my name, but still you can call me Mudassir sir or Mudassir regardless of how you're comfortable, depending on your choice. I am a psychologist. I am a public speaker. I am a brother, husband, son. I am a orator above all. Today in front of you, I am a facilitator. Do you know what a facilitator means? Do you know what the word facility means? Anybody raise your hand? Okay, you can raise your hand slowly also. What does the word facility mean? Anybody knows the word amenity, facility? See, I need to know where you are so that I can take you where you need to go more efficiently. Yes.
Things are provided.
Okay, maybe whatever you are being provided with. Okay. If I want to go to a restaurant and I want to know before I start eating, will I be able to wash my hands there? Do they have a wash basin? Right? That's a facility.
Yes.
That is above and beyond, let's say, the food itself. Right? While they have the wash basin, they have, let's say, the soap dispenser. Right? That would be another facility. Anybody who comes and provides something to you, therefore, somebody who enriches your present existence. Your presence day-to-day schooling would have gone regardless of whether or not I showed up today. Right? You would still go around attending school. You would still attend classes. The purpose of my existence is to enrich your lives in such a way that your entire schooling experience becomes at least 0.5% better because of you. Okay? Any and all who fully potentially enrich your life because they are there. Now, every facilitator therefore will also have a mean or a method or an approach to enrich your lives. Right? We are part of the Young Orientals Club, while I also belong to many other organizations, clubs and societies. I am here today as a representative of the Young Orientals Club. Okay? So I will be facilitating you with an approach to primarily ensure that some of you come to the Young Orientals Club. Regardless, I want you all to leave this session and all other sessions that we have planned for you today, gaining something that will forever change your life or forever alter, at least minutely, the course of your existence on this rock that is floating in space. So far, so good? Okay. The very first thing that I want to talk about is called as preparedness for learning. So when we talk about preparedness for learning, how many of you have tried teaching tricks to animals? That could be, let's say, making a dog sit in a place. Anybody who's tried to make a dog sit? No. And how many of you have younger siblings? Younger siblings. Chote bhai brother. Younger siblings. Okay. Have you tried teaching them something?
Yes.
Have you been successful?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you teach your younger siblings how to fly? Why not? Are you not good teachers? Or are they not good students? What is the issue? Why can your younger siblings not learn to fly? Pardon? They do not have wings. Okay. Do we have penguins in the world?
Yes.
They have wings?
Yes.
Can they fly?
Yes.
Penguins can fly? No. Not pigeon, penguin. The one in the North Pole and South Pole, those penguins. No? Why not? So is it enough to fly if you have wings? What else do you do? Strength. Okay. So let's say a dog has a mouth. Yes? Can it speak English?
No.
So a mouth is not all that is needed to speak English. But can a dog speak Hindi? No. No. Okay. Sorry. So a dog has mouth but can't speak Hindi also. Can a dog speak Telugu? No. Okay. So there is something fundamentally a dog is lacking, as opposed to Telugu speakers, Hindi speakers, or English speakers. Is there a possibility that the dog speaks some other language? Because I don't know if I attach my identity to my content, whether my content will get appreciation or whether my content will get depreciation. If I go to somebody, an officer in, let's say, the GHMC and stuff, and I'm trying to tell a people, if I tell them in very good English, sir, please understand that my farm loans are very high and I want you to excuse my farm loans. This person doesn't look like a farmer. Why is that? If I speak in a specific way, whatever the stereotype is, I don't need to be racist or whatever, but the assumption is there would be component of my content that will get judged by the receiver, by the listener, by whoever it is I am communicating with. Right? So I want to ensure something known as MTI doesn't take place, mother tongue influence, at least until I am sure how my mother tongue is being perceived. If I am convinced that okay, these people have a sense of appreciation for who I am, I can be rest assured that I can be myself. But until then, I need to ensure that my mother tongue interference doesn't happen. Right? So, let's say in Hyderabad we all say parsu, right? Something that must have happened, let's say 15 years ago, we say parsu. Right? It may have happened today itself, but person. But it may happen 15 years ago, still person. Right? This is a component of Hindi expression or Hyderabadi expression. Now, if I just speak to somebody and while narrating I say, just day before yesterday I met somebody. Day before yesterday it was Sunday. Really? You met somebody on Monday? No. Right? In English when you're talking, your time perception has to be very accurate. They are very punctual with their time. If you also, let's say, do what is known as Makhi to Makhi translation. Do you know what is a Makhi to Makhi translation? You are aware? So basically there was a guy who was sitting in an exam. Okay, somebody was sitting in an exam. He's coughing. He turned the page. But coincidentally there was a mosquito there. He thought, okay, maybe that's part of some dry ground. He also caught one mosquito to put it there. Okay. Even if you're copying, you need to be able to copy things intelligently so that your perception by others, I mean how they see you, does not get impacted by other components. Okay? So mother tongue influence is something that you should be mindful of as potential future narrators, as public speakers, as leaders. Right? If you want to be known as an Indian, you speak better in the Indian language. You come and say, withdraw. Right? And okay, if you are, let's say, a Marxist and you're like, comrades, right? I don't know how many of you are aware of the Marxist history or leftist history or something. Right? We have Nazis who speak in a specific way. Everybody has a specific tonality in which they communicate. People in the northern regions, right, Russians, they speak with their jaws closed. Muslims, they just not move. A lot of it has to do with coming from very cold regions. Right? A lot of English is very flowy. Today I was told there is a lot of flowing. In Indian languages, because maybe we eat a lot of spices and stuff, we open our jaws a lot. Like, there's a lot of breath movement. Right? It is very common for us to have a lot of this is not a language, this is not a word, but it is part of our language. So we stand like this. Right? You would not see people in the West standing like this. You would see Britishers standing like this. Right? Which is why it is asked to sometimes hold your hands and stand like this. Right? People in the army stand like this. So now, if you are standing like this and somebody standing like this, who is somebody more likely to hear, you or the other? Right? So your mother tongue influence, which community you're coming from and stuff, is not just limited to the words you're speaking. It's not just limited to your vocabulary. It also extends and becomes a larger part of your body language. Sorry. that brings me to what is the spoken word and what is the necessity for poetry. Now somebody could argue that, sir, why do we need to learn all this body language, this and that? I can just write one letter and submit. I can just write whatever it is, whatever my concern is, and I can submit. Why do I need to speak? So amongst all the languages that are out there, the spoken word is given the most importance because either culturally, evolutionary wise, or maybe creation wise, depending on what your particular belief system is, we all have a tradition of oral narrations. So there is this dude known as Homer. Okay? There is a type of poetry called Iliads, okay, or epics. So these are 400-page long poems, 200-page long poems. The entire Rig Vedas, the entire Athur Vedas, right? The entire Quran. All of these are poetic in nature. When you don't have the technology to write things down, when you do not have the capacity to teach everyone how to read and write, it becomes very easy for me to stand here and give a speech without any preparation for materials. Now I've given you books and pens. If you have doubt, you can write down. But I can continue the entire conversation I'm doing without any PPT, without anything to teach. But if I want all of you to write, I have to get some dictionary, I have to get this. After that, I have to give you topics to write. And when you are talking, I can't do anything. I'm just sitting like this. After you are done writing, I have to come and read one by one. Then I have to do correction. It becomes a headache. But when I am speaking, you can all receive it. When you are speaking, I can give you feedback instantly. All of you can maybe one voice say, nose is one of the sense organs, or eyes is one of the sense organs. We can move ahead instantly. If I give you all a chip, what are the sense organs? One by one, I'll go and read and go and read and go and read. That'll take me maybe 60 minutes just to read all of the answers. Right? There is a huge advantage to spoken word. Even in traditions, in societies where writing or let's say the written word did not exist, even they were able to pass their entire history to the younger generation. Right? The reason why we have things like Hanuman Chalisa, the reason why we have the Suras and the Ayat, and the reason why we have all of these religious texts that are so rhythmic in nature is because majority of the content was spoken rather than written. Right? I'm not sure how many of you will relate to this, but you know what is doing this of Quran? Quran, so maybe by hearting the Quran. You don't write it down. You recite. Right? People who become pandits, when they are reading the shlokas, they don't write it down. They recite it. The entire is so complex in they in fact change their diet according to it. So what happens when you eat a lot of non-veg? Your tongue becomes fat. You can't read the slokas properly. You should avoid garlic, you should avoid onion, you should avoid spices because your tongue should not be fat. You should be able to read very fast. So the spoken word is given so much importance that it changes our life. It changes our lifestyle. It changes our technology. The reason why we have, let's say, phones to be, let's say, vertical is not just because we hold it in our hand like this. It's because there is some distance between our ears and mouth. If we focus on written word, it should have been like this because I want to read, or like this. But phone was invented before tablet was, or let's say a pad was. Right? In that sense, spoken word is given a lot of importance because we'll be able to communicate with a lot of people at once. I don't know if you have seen Chota Bheem. There will be a character will come. Suno. Right? They'll be a Golakpur ke Deswasi. You get a lot of people to rally with you instantly the moment you are able to speak. So, therefore, speech will always have a higher authority than writing. Then what is the limitation of speech? The limitation of speech is it needs to be repeated by one human to another human whenever it has to be heard. You cannot immortalize speech. Right? Even if I want you all to listen to a video, somebody has to speak it. So I have to click play and then you have to hear it. So maybe what I can do is I can outsource my speaking to a video camera. And then that can be put into a monitor and that can be displayed to all of you. But some speaking has to happen. Whereas for writing, once I've written it down, you can take thousands of photocopies, you can just distribute it, anybody can open it at their ease. When you're reading something, others are not getting disturbed. I play one video, everybody, the entire colony has to hear. Oh, sir is playing some video today and engage. Right? This MPH was multiple number. Right? Now everybody gets to know, okay, there is some speech happening. So spoken word, one of the biggest limitation is you cannot do it discreetly, otherwise and whispering. Telling people, like Chinese whisper, telling everybody in their ear. So one of the limitation of spoken word is it cannot be hidden. It cannot be discreet. It cannot be secretive. Written word, I can pass it, I can take example, I can writing. Writing can be copy pasted, it can be spread across the ocean. I can be just a good writer, my work can be spread across the seas. Right? Somebody can make copies and go there and go there and go there. So obviously every type of communication has their own unique advantages and disadvantages. Now, for your existence, you are students, you are minors, you need to be able to get people to see your point of view. You need to be able to get people to support you, to sustain your education. Like you need to be able to convince people that why you want this toy and why it is right for you. Why you want this course, why it is good for you. Why you want this school, why it is good for you. If you need to be able to convince people, you will not write and like please. That doesn't work. You need to speak. That is where oratory becomes a very fundamental part of all movements, all revolutions, and all kind of gatherings. Right? Let's say, we go to a wedding and there is a pamphlet being distributed. Nobody's talking. It's all silence. Everybody's just writing and communicating. It becomes so awkward, unnecessarily complicated. So we can be at the stage, we can have fun, we can sit there and talk. So there is an inherent benefit to communication. Okay? And then within communication, there is an inherent benefit to the spoken word or the oral communication, verbal communication. As good orators, it therefore becomes your responsibility to be able to what is known as craft a speech. Okay? What does the word craft mean? Have you heard the word art and craft? What is the meaning of craft? Creating something? Right? Sure, let's go ahead with that. Now, if I have a concept I want to deliver, and I know usually oratory is a good way to go about it. Oratory as in communicating, expressing orally, verbally. Right? How do I get my point across to the other person in as precise a manner that I don't have to waste so much time and energy? If I don't know good language, if I don't have good vocabulary, if I'm not a good orator, maybe I'll need to talk to them for 2-3 months. Finally, I'll be able to convince them. Finally, I'll be able to explain what I'm trying to say. But if I'm a good orator, maybe as you grow older, there will be a concept. I hope all of you grow up to at least do your masters, that is beyond your 10th grade, you do your 12th, and then you will do your graduation and post-graduation. Right? I hope everybody minimum does their post-graduation. Right? Something that you will realize if you get into sales, there is something known as the elevator switch. You go into an elevator, a lift. Somebody else is there in the lift. The lift will go from ground floor to maybe third floor at most, or ground floor to second floor. Within the 10-15 seconds of being in the elevator with somebody, can I pitch my concept to them? Can I give them my idea? Within 15 seconds, if I am able to, so let's say I know that I live in a building with Ambani. Just assume. I don't, but example. He does not have any reason to meet me except we are in the same building. Or I am working in this big Google office, it's 10 floors, 20 floor building. But CEO is also taking the same lift, I am also taking the same lift. Maybe CEO is in penthouse, maybe 28th floor. I am in the first floor, I am in the ground floor, or I am somewhere. Now I need to be able to have something that I want to tell to the CEO, to the owner or to the boss. Then I need to be able to say it very quickly so that okay, that person will go to the 20th floor, but I may get down on the second floor, I may get down on the first floor. Within that urgently I need to tell. So as you become better orators, you learn the skill to speak one-on-one. You get the skill to speak one to a group. You get the skill to speak for 3 hours at a speech. All of your teachers speak to you or teach you for 40 minutes, 60 minutes. How long is every teacher? 45 minutes. Okay. So your teachers teach you for 45 minutes. That is a different type of skill versus giving an elevator pitch which is just 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Very short, very precise, very crisp answers. Right? So different type of agendas will require you to be able to communicate with different types of spoken word. Even within the spoken word, you need to be able to speak fast, you need to speak slow for longer time, for shorter time, you need to be able to get people's attention. If I have to just come and tell everybody, please don't note down one number, blah, 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 and leave, I don't need to kind of do all this drama. You can just come, tell one number and go. But if I have to get you to listen to me for 2 hours or 1 hour, I need to give example, I need to do little this and that, I need to make sure from every 5 to 10 minutes, all of your attention is still with me. Right? So this becomes part of the skill I have to do extra to keep your attention with me for that much longer. So far, so good? Now, all of these concepts that I'm telling, you will be able to read about it a lot more, research about it a lot more, and maybe find out for yourself a lot more. Obviously, if you come to the Young Orientals Club, obviously if you come to our sessions, but even then, if you do not show up, if you don't want to come, how many of you have access to the internet? You are able to use internet at home or at school or someplace? 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. Okay, internet. If you have the access to internet, please use. Maybe not yourself. Your parents have smartphone, Google something. Right. Now, what I want you to understand is, if you have good oratory skills, you can convince your parents to allow you to use the internet at home for at least 30 minutes every day. Apart from your subject, apart from your knowledge, right now on video I did not make that video. I went to YouTube, I was coming in the morning, I saw this one video, I think the students will understand. I saw skip, okay, that is one video, sounds good, I played. The internet enables me to enhance my facilitation by using that facility. So a facilitator is using one facility, right? Similarly, your students, you will enhance your ability to study if you are able to convince your parents with your oratory skills to read up on internet about more oratory concepts. And then we can use that to leverage somewhere else. What does leverage mean? You all know a seesaw. There is one kind of a big, let's say, big one. Whatever. Somebody sits here and somebody else sits here. You are going on a seesaw. There is a concept that if I extend the length of the seesaw too long, if I make it very big, very big, very big. On one end, I can put like, let's say 50 kgs. But if it's big enough, with just one finger, I can put it like this. And that thing will come, right? Because I have that much more resistance than I can tell it. If you take engineering, you will get these concepts of how using little force I can make a lot of change. You're all little people, you're all young people. Just 10 minutes a day. And if you consistently use the internet to read about good things, positive things, you attend good clubs like Young Orientals Club. Every Saturday you're coming. With small efforts, week after week, week after week. Now some of you are in 7th grade. By the time you come to 10th grade, you have 52 into 3. How many weeks? 156. You have 156 weeks. Right? Every week we meet at for your sessions for at least 3 hours. So 156 into 3. You can take 300 of places and your lessons. 500 hours of content beyond your schooling, which is all professional. So you will be able to leverage all of that. Maybe you are coming from inappropriate social settings. Maybe you are coming from
Excuse me, sir.
more than lacking economical settings. Maybe some things back at home are not very fruitful and very helpful. You can leverage all of this hours of attending sessions. All of these hours of your internet and video knowledge. Do it. Right? And the further you can balance it. Whatever challenges are there, you can do it out of your way. Again, the best way to do it is if you already have oratory skills, maybe one person is not enough, but if you give us each 50 people agree with you and we can all kind of do something. Make sense? Sounds good? Okay. EDMS. What is that from? LMS, Language Matter Science. That is the evaluation criteria for majority of the speeches that we follow at York. So, I think Apurva will be a better person to say about that. So it is, let's say I give a speech. Out of 10 in language, how good was my language? How many new words am I using? Vocabulary. Then M is for matter. Matter is substance. Okay, how many arguments I had? How many points I had? Then S is for style, I have flow. Okay, they may have good matter, but it's like suddenly I'm talking about clearly, then I'm talking about Rango, then I'm talking, there is no connection. Right? So there's time to make it like flowing properly. Right? And also in my style, it should not be like I'm so offensive with two people. people don't know this also, you don't know that also. If I keep it will also affect my style. Otherwise, I'm like, listen to, I am not being commanding enough. So that will also be part of my style. So am I casual? Am I formal? Am I informal? Am I very beseeching, making like polite, please? Or am I like sweet with people? All of this is part of style. Okay? Majority of which will hoping the other facilitated each other. Okay? Any other questions? No. And you have a laptop there. You have a projector there. There's a screen. You're all coming to school. Now, you may or may not have internet, but sir has internet.
Yes.
Now I have told you about where it sees sir is leaving. Slowly he's going. Slowly he's escaping. Okay. Now I have told you what is already. You should all one by one or together come to sir. नहीं चलेगा, you can give one answer. Sir, maybe you should play one either half episode of English movie. You should play some kind of TED talk, some speech on. Sir, you should teach us something with projector. We don't have at home. You should say. Now, if you don't know what you can take, how will sir give? Sir is not a child. I am also not a child. I can tell you how to ask. I cannot tell you what to ask. You should therefore be able to understand what your concerns are, write them down, discuss among yourselves maybe, get a head boy, is there a student representative, is there a class monitor, is there a student rep, okay? Get somebody, if you can't talk yourself, push somebody, motivate others to talk on your behalf. So there's something like a shadow or anything. Also I can't speak for myself, I'm like, okay? But in a very structured manner, not like I'm teaching like this. But we all come together, see, we can't talk to sir, but sir will listen to you, you talk on our behalf, right? And then you get your point across. Anything that you want to see, entire internet is available, right? Anything, any piece of information, any wisdom, any knowledge, you can get. Obviously, if you are willing and available, we would love to have you at your house. You can come down to our sessions and attend. But even then, if you are unable to come, because it's all the way in Secunderabad, I'm not sure how many of you will have the resources or the vehicles and stuff to come. But even then, you can have some kind of televised service. Now, I may not be able to come down to Goramanta every day and say in Medipatnam, right? This is very far for me and the timing don't work. But can we do an online session?
Yes.
Right? Maybe through some Google Meet or some Skype and stuff.
Yes.
So we can arrange. Maybe not the other members of your circle, they're in America also. We can teach you a lot of things. But you may not be able to come down to school. Now, you have to therefore complete your notes on time, complete your education on time, syllabus on time. Today I have taken all of your teachers' time and wasted it. Maybe they wanted to complete some syllabus and we are sitting here. But they will not give you therefore permission to come to session if your syllabus is incomplete, your marks are low. Because ultimately, let's say you become great auditors, but 10 fail, what's the use? Correct? So maintain some decent marks, maintain good integrity, have some reputation that teachers should also say, okay, if this student is saying maybe they actually need it. What I say was the first thing, you should have good character. Right? That is, if you say people should be believable, so oh, this boy or this girl, they have a good character. Right? So understand what your concerns are, build a reputation that will match your needs, right? And then get your point across. Once you have access to internet, almost the entire world is open to you. Okay? That's been my time. Thank you.
One thing I would like to say, as sir said, okay, protocol is available, internet is available, but we are making it use all the time whenever it's very long. Yes, sir. Despite we don't request, also we are there always forward to help you out, show you something which you may not have explored in at home or somewhere else. Okay, so it's a place of learning. We should learn, chalk and talk. You will go on in class, and at the same time, digital support for your education you will provide in our capacity. There is no doubt if you have complaints, you can complain to the system. And we are very happy that someone is there who can guide us, who can suggest us, who can make you people more open and speak about your problems and come to us so that we will find solutions. Isn't it? We are here to give solutions.